not attack the messenger. If they would look at the message, I think, and I would advise Mr. President to actually do a deep introspection. Let him sit back. Let him shut all his activities, sit down alone in a room and ruminate, reflect on this country, how he met it and how it is currently. That is this exactly the deal he signed with Nigerians as of 2023
during his campaign?
Is this what he promised Nigeria? The renewed hope agenda that he had. Yeah, they could be well-intentioned. I think it's for him to look at it. What Nigerians have now, has their hope been renewed or has their hope been dashed further? Because it has always been this hope. It will be better, it will be better. It go better, it go better. The same thing our parents mentioned, the same thing
the hope that
we kept in as of 1999, the same hope that we shouted during June 12, 1993, Hope 93 of Abiola. Now, we felt that this same man worked with Abiola, was with him during, the trenches with Nadeko. Now, 30 years down the line, you have another opportunity now to rekindle that hope that the military truncated in 1993, and 1 year down the line, see, Nigerians are worse off.
Okay, as a Nigerian that witnessed the era of military governments, now, when the APC came in 2015, they told us it was
change.
That PDP has bastardized a lot of things, economy and everything. Okay, now 16 years of PDP, 9 years of APC. So it's just like things are just getting worse. Should we clamor for military government back?
No, I would not advocate that, and I don't think it would be nice for me to use this kind of platform to actually call for the return of the military, because one way or the other, what I would say is we actually don't have a democratic government in place. What we have is civilian rule, because there is a difference between the two, because ordinarily the dividends of democracy are absent in our lives. So we cannot say we're actually running a democracy. We have a civil rule, yes, not by the military, but then all the basic tenets of democracy have actually been bastardized by, every successive leaders that we've had since 1999. And it's not just about the federal government, because these things, trickle down to the, lowest level of governance that we have in the country. Look at it. What is the level of governance existing in the 36 states that we have in Nigeria? What's the level of governance? Is there anything even called governance at the level of the local government? No. The governors have actually killed and destroyed the local government structure. So what they now have are like side chicks. See, they are just people that they are just like, appointees that they can hire and fire. And that's why, see, many local governments in many states in Nigeria don't have, elected local government officials. What they just have is transition committees or what have you. So what we are saying is that we should not call for democracy, military, because even this freedom for me to express myself and to express, the feelings of many Nigerians on the streets there, we'll probably not have it if we're under a military rule. So this is still something that we should still celebrate, our freedom, because that we cannot compare to anything. The liberty that we have to be able to express ourselves is something that we still owe to this democratic, to this democracy. Not necessarily democratic rule, but this civilian rule. But what we are saying is they can always do better. Because if you're to look at it, you say that Nigerians should continue to, be patient, to persevere. But unfortunately, the political elite did not even wait for that to happen. They have actually paid off themselves, sending, money into their accounts as prayers, buying, exotic vehicles, importing these vehicles, building houses, allocating jumbo pay to themselves. And at the end of the day, you are telling the citizens from whom you got this money, those whom you have actually overtaxed, those who really cannot point at anything as evidence of democracy, are the ones that you are now preaching patience.
Oh, we just hope things get better. We still keep giving ourselves the hope.
No. Beyond that, I think there are so many other things that we really need to do, and that is, see, beyond the elections, the citizens need to be very active, and that's why all these things that we are doing, we are actually trying to activate the office of the citizen. And the active citizen is one who monitors the activities of the government. We should not just be, fold our arms.
We shouldn't be silent.
We should not be silent. See, we should, voice out. We should air our feelings.
Let them know we are
Let
not happy.
them know we are not happy. In fact, if there are things that we can do, including probably recalling members of the National Assembly, members of the State Assembly, including our councillors that are supposed to represent our interests, but are actually representing their own personal interests. We can recall them. Let us even try to activate some of these things. Let us follow the money. See, there are so many apps now, there are so many websites that we can use to actually follow, budget implementation at all levels of government in Nigeria. Are we truly doing that? See, it's not enough for us to just sit within our cocoons and lament that these people are not doing anything. How have we hit the street to let them know that we are not happy? Have we actually taken picket do we picket the office? Do we actually probably stage a sitting at probably the assembly or the governor's office to say that, see, you cannot continue to enjoy these dividends of democracy when we are suffering? No. Have you tried that before? So we need to really activate some of these things. Yes. We need to call them out. We need to follow the money. We need to, yes, that's why, see, it's the office of the citizen that we need to activate. There is need for active citizen engagement with their leaders. Imagine this national anthem that just happened. Did they consult any Nigerian?
The bill was just passed within a week.
Within a week, the Senate, the House of Reps did its own, the Senate did its own, and the President assented to it as if that's the most important thing that Nigerians need at this point in time. So that's why we are saying that.
Been going around.
See, and that's why we are saying that these people, they pass these laws without consulting us, and they call themselves our own representatives. They are not representing our interests, and that's why we are saying that we need to follow them, follow their activities, follow the money that is actually allocated to them, so that at the end of the day, when they are not doing it right, see, we call them out.
So as a citizen, we need to follow up with our government. We elected them.
See, let me tell you. See, NSAS was just a replica of what the citizens can achieve.
The power
of the citizens. So, as much as we will not say that we should actually go and destroy anything, what we are saying is that if you put that pressure on them, these guys will buckle.
They will know that.
See, the reality is we are more than them. We are more than them. But it's because we are lethargic, we are laid back, we are complacent. We are too reluctant, too comfortable with this suffering. We are suffering and smiling, just like Fela said. And unfortunately, it's still happening now. How many years down the line? Over 40 years that he has said that.
Till now.
And keep lamenting. Hoping endlessly. Hope will not happen. Hope will not do anything. We need to walk the talk. Yes.
We need to work and expect the hope. So on this issue of Kano Emirate Tozu, CJN Ariwala summons Federal High Court President Kano Chief Judge over conflicting orders.
It's pathetic that we have turned our courts to Jankara markets, where judgments are now given to the highest bidder, where people, see, they purchase judgments. They purchase, because I won't call it justice, they purchase judgments.
So our judiciary is just...
See, they have allowed themselves to be willing tools in the hands of politicians. And see, that is nothing politicians in Nigeria lay their hands on, that thing would get destroyed. Look at, they have actually interfered with traditional stool. Look at how they have actually denigrated it and reduced it,
Kano
Emirates. See, one of the most respected emirates in the whole of Africa is the one that we have just reduced, to God. See, you look at that. Look at the justice system. Because politicians have actually interfered, that's why we have seen it. Look at a judge assuming jurisdiction over a case that he knows he lacks jurisdiction and giving orders that is capable of actually causing, chaos in the community. They now shop for ex parte orders, as if you want to go inside a supermarket to buy grocery. That is what they have reduced the judiciary to. And I think it's time. Unfortunately, this chief judge is going. Probably let him use this as a lasting legacy. Let him clean the audience table to show that, yes, for those judges who are found culpable in giving these, unwarranted, unnecessary orders, especially in cases where they lack jurisdiction, there should be punitive measures for them. So at the end of the day, others would, be very careful of, taking up such cases. Even when they bring such cases to you, you don't grant such.
States.
Look at what is happening with Kano State now because of this emirship tussle. Look at what is happening in Rivers State. Different judgment, counter judgment. Everybody is expert now. Everybody's just going expert.
So everyone has his own judgment.
Look at. You're talking about a law that was passed by a state assembly. No matter whether you like it or not, it's a law that was passed by a properly constituted House of Assembly. And the governor assented to it. And you now have a judge, number one, who lacked jurisdiction. Number two, it was reported that that judge was not actually even in the country as at the time that ex parte order was given. Now, we have a signature that is showing that it actually was most likely allegedly forged and not the actual judge's signature. And yet, he's still assuming that, yes, what was done was right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So you have a federal high court in Abuja giving judgment. You have a federal high court in Kano giving judgment over the same matter on traditional title, that they lack jurisdiction.
Because it's a state matter.
That's the absurdity that we are seeing coming from the judiciary. And I hope that Justice Ariwola will do the needful. Because now, apart from the fact that he has summoned the judges to, his private chambers, the NJC would also sit on this matter. And I think the NJC also needs to come hard on those judges that are found culpable on this matter.
All right, we hope to get better. We hope they do the needful as soon as possible. NLC declares indefinite strike for Monday, June 3rd over minimum wage electricity tariff hike. Are we ready for this?
Well, I think between now and Monday, a lot of things can still happen. But then I think the NLC needs to take such action so that the government would understand the fact that they are not actually joking. Because I think the government is actually joking and toying with the feelings of Nigerians. Imagine that you are now, I heard the Minister of Labour saying that the NLC and the TUC leaders should be patriotic. Now, what patriotism is there when you remove subsidy without considering the aftermath for the citizens? What patriotism is there when ordinarily the prices of things have gone up? You increase the price of fuel. It tripled. You didn't consider that. What patriotism is there when you were allocating billions to members of the National Assembly, when you are allocating billions to the office of the First Lady? That is unconstitutional. What's
the money mean?
Patriotism is there when you are allocating billions for rehabilitating State House in Lagos that the president does not stay in? What patriotism is there that you are allocating billions for repairing or for refurbishing the vice president's lodge in Lagos that he does not stay in? What patriotism is there? See, we have the Aguda House for the office for the vice president's residence. Now, that house is still active. That was the same house that Osinbajo lived for 8 years. Now, that is the same lot that even the sitting vice president is staying, and still, you still had an FCT minister saying that they need 15 billion naira to build a befitting residence for the president. What patriotism is there?
When they are citizens.
Now, the same patriotism, you are talking about patriotism. The citizens are unable to feed. The citizens are unable to transport themselves to work. The citizens are unable to pay their rent. Now, you are saying that they are now saying, looking at all these things, the cost of living, that we need to actually have an improvement. As much as personally, I don't believe in the issue of the minimum wage. But I feel like what we should probably address is the issue of how we can actually ensure that we shore up the value of the naira, so that even if I'm collecting 30,000, that 30,000 will be able to get me the basic necessities of life. But unfortunately, because it is immediate need, you cannot provide, you cannot bring that. Look at now, what's the price of a bag of rice?
Bag of rice is almost 80,000 naira.
Now, so what we are saying is, it means that if you have a family of 6, and probably the father is the only one working, and is earning a minimum wage of 30,000, that 30,000 cannot even buy a half bag of rice for a family of 6. And that is why NLC came up with the parameters with which is able to come up with 615,000. As much as that is unrealistic, but it is not unreasonable. It is very, very logical. It's very, very rational. What the calculations they have done, but it is not realistic looking at the economic, parameters. But at the same time, I don't even believe that it is impossible, because it is anything that concerns the masses, that concerns the people, that government will say there is no money. But if it concerns the government, there would always be money. There will always be money that they can actually borrow. There would always be money they can allocate for supplementary budget when it has to do with them. But when it has to do with the masses cannot get, cheap health care. They cannot get subsidized drugs. They cannot get subsidized education. They cannot get subsidized accommodation. But the people, the political elite, can have everything free. And yet you talk about patriotism. Please, I hope the minister should actually apologize, not just to the NLC, but the whole of Nigeria, for actually coming up with that statement. What patriotism do they have? In fact, as far as I'm concerned, I would say, if the government is now, see, look at, they are pushing it. Government pushing it from 48,000, something that is very, very ridiculous, that is what you can offer. From 48,000, they moved it by 6,000, they said 54,000. They moved it by 3,000, they said 57,000. They moved by another 3,000, they said 60,000. And government is insisting that it is only 60,000 that it will pay. For me, I think I would tell NLC that the strike should go ahead, and they should only call off the strike and suspend the strike when the government itself agrees that everybody, including all public office holders, let everybody be placed on minimum wage. Let everybody, including the president,
even
the members of the National Assembly,
politicians,
everybody, every public office holder, let everybody be placed on minimum wage. Then I'll be satisfied. If they say it is 60,000, they want to pay everybody, no problem.
Well, let's see how. Well, we still have like 2 days to go.
We still have 2 days that can actually stop the strike.
So let's see.
But I also gave them enough warning to say that by the end of 31st of May, if there is no resolution to the minimum wage saga, then there will be an indefinite strike.
All right. I will sack non-performing ministers, presidents.
See, the question is, which of the ministers is performing?
Are you supposed to even inform us about that before doing the needful?
That is not. God bless you. I don't think. See, for me, I don't need this news. What I need is the action. Let him take the action that we know that he has done.
Action.
See, the truth of the matter is that it's a particular person, a special advisor to the president on policy coordination and evaluation of, all appointees of the president, in person of Hadiza Bala Osman. So it's her office that's actually doing that, directly under the office of the president. So I think that if she has actually come up with a report of the evaluation or the assessment of the ministers, then let him present to the president and let the president take action. Rather than him coming to tell us, we don't need what he's telling us. We need his action. Because the truth of the matter is, currently we have 47 plus 1 suspended minister in the cabinet of Mr. President. The question you should ask yourself is, do you even remember the name of any minister that you think is functional? What? If probably you remove OLUBUNMI Tunji-Ojo, the interior minister, you probably talk about Dave Umahi, the works minister. You probably talk about FCT minister, what's it called? Nyesom Wike. You probably talk about the attorney general, Lateef Fagbemi. Beyond that, now, beyond these ones, do you remember any other minister? Do you even know the meaning of the agric minister?
They are not even working. They are not working.
So at the end of the day, the president, for me, as far as I'm concerned, let the president even dissolve this cabinet. Let him dissolve the whole of this cabinet. Number one,
something he said he has been nursing for.
That's what I'm saying. See, because I can't even. Am I not those ones that I mentioned? Do you even know? So that's the question I should ask. It's not a case of I will sack the non-performing minister. The first question we should ask is which among the ministers is performing? Who among them is performing? So if you have removed those four, probably see. Look at, we have not even been able to measure up to 10% of the cabinet ministers. So if you are saying 10% of his appointees are actually active, so it means the remaining 90% should actually sack.
He has failed.
So automatically, that's why, and that's why, can you point at anything this president has done that you can say in the last, 1 year?
Because the child cannot come on with 10 over 100.
Yes, now you say you celebrate him now. So what are we saying?
Court convicts Donald Trump over huge money trial case politically motivated. Judge compromised.
Well, this is the first time a president or a former president of America is actually getting convicted for criminal offense. And in this case, Donald Trump has actually entered into the record books in the United States of America. Whether he will serve jail time, I doubt that as much. I think the maximum you probably get is actually fines, for what he has done. But if at all, will that actually derail his presidential ambition? I doubt it. And the truth of the matter is, Mr. Trump is probably, I think, is box sure that he's actually going to win the presidential election. And that's why if he could come out blazing, gun blazing, the way he has come out against the judge on this particular matter, because he has been convicted on all 34 count charges of trying to cover up his financial activities, when ordinarily for someone that is contesting for the office of the president should actually be very, very transparent. And for the fact that I also covered a hush money that was paid to Stormy Daniels, the adult star, through his lawyers and his men that actually helped him to fix some of these cases. But he was convicted on all 34 count charges, and so we await the judgment exactly. But then Mr. Trump has come out to say that all that is actually politically motivated, and that the judge is compromised, and in fact he attacked the personality of the judge, and I find that to be disrespectful. So it's not only in Nigeria that you have people attacking the officers of the law. You also have that, but I don't think that's a good example. But beyond that is also the fact that he is very sure of his chances in the election, because he feels that he has what it takes to actually defeat the incumbent Joe Biden. And in terms of, you actually also look at the polls, he's actually ahead of Mr. Biden. And beyond that, if you now look at it, is that after this conviction, he has the Trump office announced that so many people actually donated to the campaign. That's to tell you that this guy has his massive followership in America, regardless of whatever you think. And for a lot of Americans, especially for the business people, I think they enjoyed Trump presidency than that of Joe Biden. And for that reason, it's most likely that Mr. Trump would actually be staging a comeback, and Mr. Joe Biden actually kiss his re-election a goodbye.
All right, on this note, I would like to draw the curtain for today's news review. Till next week when we'll meet again for another scintillating episode of News Review. I mean, your host, EMIOLA, ABDUL is the name.
And OLUBUNMI KAZEEM is here. See you next week. Goodbye.